Hi there, thank you for joining with me. Have you heard these words? Though I speak in the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am just a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. What a statement. A fellow called Paul made it, and he seems to be saying he could be the most wonderful preacher in all of the world that you've ever heard, but if his heart is not full of love, it's just a bunch of noise. I read of a wee lass who went for an interview to be admitted to vet school. All her life, Amy wanted to be a vet. And before she left, she booked a small hotel and hoped to have a few hours of peace and quiet before the big interview. She had booked a car hire at the airport, and when she was going to pick it up and she took out her new credit card, that was when things began to go wrong because her authorisation hadn't been received by the credit card company. She had very little money to pay for either the car or the hotel, and so she went to a payphone to call her parents. She was upset and she was crying. It was at that moment a man came up to her. He had been in the queue for the car hire and heard what was going on, and though he wanted to use the phone, but instead of that, he handed Amy a £20 note and walked away because he knew she didn't have enough money for the phone. The sad thing is Amy never got a chance to find out who he was or to thank him. He disappeared among the crowd. And she said, somehow I would love to meet that anonymous guy and to know that he made it possible for me to arrive in time for my interview. He made it possible for me to get into university to study as a vet. She says, I'll remember him all my life. But Paul goes on and says, love is more than emotion. He says, love is patient. Love is kind, it's not jealous, it's not arrogant, it's not rude. It doesn't insist in its own way. You know, there was an old guy recovering from a stroke once, and when he writes letters, it takes him a long time. And recently he wrote to one of his daughters. In it, he recorded a memory that had been stored in his brain since he was 3 years of age. And he said this, I can remember the many times when my father proved his love to his children. Like when I was 3, late at night, cold winter, no electric lights, no electric heating, and at night the bucket had slivers of ice in it. No heat in the house except the fireplace. My brother was thirsty. 3 a.m, a sound, Daddy, I'm thirsty. With a flash, a match was struck. A light appeared in an oil lamp. I could hear my daddy walking towards the kitchen and smash some ice. In a minute, an angel of mercy, without any fuss, with one hand in the lamp and the other hand holding a glass of fresh water. Thank you, Daddy. No kissing, not necessary. Only a very warm feeling of being loved. That's love, isn't it? It's more than emotion. It's found in acts of caring. But there's one other thing that the great Apostle Paul says. He says that love is eternal. Think about it. Everything else that you will accomplish will one day be left behind. You can have your body in great condition, good, but one day you will leave it behind as well. So enjoy it while you can. I say to you, whatever you've done, whatever you've achieved, I want you to think this. They pale in comparison to your relationships with other people. The story is told of a group of soldiers who were released from prison camp at the end of the war. Because transportation was limited and bad weather threatened to cut off the port, the soldiers who were to board the last boat were told they could only bring one piece of luggage. 2 soldiers had been together throughout the war. They'd been there for one another. And when one was selected to go and the other was forced to stay, the first man emptied his duffel bag and told his friend to step into that duffel bag. And then he lifted the bag onto his back and carried his most important item onto the ship, his friend. That was a smart soldier. Are you smart? Am I? I say to you, only 2 things really matter in this world, and one is our relationship with God, and the other is our relationship with other people. Quite a thought. God bless you, and thank you for listening to me today.